Hi, everybody. My name is Forrest Plaster. A little about me. I love writing. I love reading. I love riding motorcycles. Um, I've been a longtime writer of the conveyor belt mindset, which is pretty unfortunate. But anyway, a little about my journey. I I graduated from high school and I went on a 2-year proselyting mission for the LDS Church. When I got home, I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I enrolled at Utah Valley University, thinking that you know this is a good investment for me. My grandma really wanted me to because I was the first person in my family to graduate from high school, and I was the first person. My grandma wanted me to be the first person in my family to go to college. So I went, and a couple years in, I wasn't happy. I didn't I loved learning, but I hated going to classes where I already knew what the teacher was going to say. Um, and at that time, I had also gotten into classical liberalism. So I I realized at that time that I couldn't take federal grants anymore on principle. And as I approached my associate's degree, I realized, look, I'm not happy here. I don't know. I still don't know what I want to do, and it's going to be a huge expense, either in debt or just out of my own pocket, to continue going to this place that I don't even know why I'm going to. So I'm out of here. I dropped out and I just focused on work. I worked for a multi-level marketing company, and I realized that I didn't enjoy my work for a couple of reasons. One is that even though the company treated the employees very well, I didn't. I think there's a couple incentives that are built into the multi-level marketing system that are a little bit perverse. Um, so distributors will try and get other distributors in their organization almost at all costs. So they'll promise wild success and minimal effort. And that's just not true. You need to work really hard if you want to be really successful in a multi-level marketing company. And and so people would give us a call at the customer service department and say, "Hey, I was promised X and I didn't get it." And I was like, "Well, you need to do Y if you're going to get X." So, and then they just say, you're a fraudulent company, and that was really draining. I didn't think that the company I worked for was providing real value for a lot of people. For a few people, it did, but for the vast majority of the people in the multi-level marketing system, it just didn't. So I quit, and I just started driving for Lyft. Even though Lyft didn't use the skills that I had built on my mission or at work or in school, I was a lot happier because I knew that I was providing value for people, and I just didn't have to drag myself out of bed to go to work. It wasn't a chore anymore. I moved here to Eugene, and in Eugene, Lyft and Uber have both been prohibited from operating. So I've been looking for a job, and I was really stressed out about looking for a job. Um, Either it's grunt work or you need a degree or something. And so I was out on a run, and I realized, look, this conveyor belt mindset. Like, I was really angry at other people for the conveyor belt mindset, and I said, hey, like, I went through this 13-year long process where this was drilled into me, and that's not fair, and that's like, the world is just unfair, and this sucks, and I've had it with it. And I realized that, you know what, the success or failure of the conveyor belt mindset depends solely on me. And once I realized that, I said, you know what, my friend Morgan Aldis has been suggesting Praxis for a long time. I've felt for months that it's something that I really want to do. I'm going to go home and I'm going to apply today. So that was last Tuesday. Here we are. As far as some other questions from the email, the biggest difference between me and my peers, I would probably say, is curiosity. A thought will come to me. I'll start wondering about something, and I'll just need to know. It'll be like an itch that needs to be scratched. So some things that I've researched just because I was so curious. Why are movie theaters and popcorn in the United States so closely linked together? Or why is the word sandwich the same in English as it is in French? Um, Something like that will come to me, and I'll need to know, and I'll remember exactly why for a long time because it's pretty fascinating, at least to me. Um, the last time I changed a belief that I held was probably about a year ago. I started uh, when I started looking into classical liberalism. I just kind of assumed that fractional reserve banking was a way for crony capitalists uh, to control the monetary supply, and I assumed that for a really long time. I assumed that there was no place for fractional reserve banking in a free society. As I looked into it, though, about a year ago, I realized, you know what, I was wrong about that, and I I think that there is a market demand, a genuine market demand for fractional reserve banking. However, in our current system, there are a lot of perverse incentives created by regulations around uh, fractional reserve banking. Um, my favorite philosopher or thinker is probably Frederick Bastiat. I had a roommate in my freshman year of college who introduced me to Frederick Bastiat. He gave me a copy of The Law in French, and I read it and I loved it. I love 19th century humor, and he's so funny. Um, anyway, uh, I like him specifically, not specifically because he has the deepest, most insightful works, but he represents a turning point in my life. As well, I really respect him for standing against the tide, where everybody is philosophically worshiping Rousseau. He said, no, the government can't do anything it wants just because of the general will. Um, and so that's why I love Bastiat so much. If I was given $1 million, I would pay off my own debts, and then I would pay off my grandma's house, and then I would go apprentice at a food truck to learn enough about the business to run my own. And then I'd buy one and start one. Um, I'd love to sell boquites, which is like street fare in Guadeloupe. If if you're curious, you can email me or ask me. But it's the most delicious food in the world. Anyway, thank you guys so much. You guys are doing a great job at Praxis, and I'm excited to hear back from you. Anyway, bye.